We are brought to you by Joshua LaFon with Simply Vegas Real Estate, a realtor here to help educate current and future Las Vegas locals on selling and investing in real estate. You're probably asking yourself, educate. Yes, there's a surprising amount of adults that when it comes to real estate, don't know the right questions to ask, don't know where to start, and think they need a lot of cash to buy a house in Nevada, which simply isn't true. So Josh has decided to make it his responsibility to teach his clients what they need to know, and equally important, what they need to ask to help ensure making their home ownership dreams a true reality. So make sure you call or text Joshua LaFon today at 702-813-0533. This has been another paid advertisement from Joshua LaFon with Simply Vegas Real Estate. Make sure you give him a call, 702-813-0533.
Like we always do about this time.
James Russell, you hustling son of a...
It's me, your daddy, Roberto.
Me a boy's name that starts with the letter H.
Jose. Then look at me now. How far we go back? Elementary, jump rope, hide and go see, pity pad, red light, green light, red light, green light.
When you just talk about practice, we sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. About practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. We talking about practice, man. But we talking about practice right now. We talking about practice.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
You are tuned into Straight Bet Sports on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network.
That's right. You already know what it is. That's a good beat, Quan. You gotta take it off. That's a good beat, man. But you already know what it is. Jose V, Straight Bet Sports. You guys are tuned in live here on Gorilla Cross Radio Network. We greatly appreciate you guys for joining us tonight and every single Wednesday night as you do. Just a little bit past 7:30 p.m. I know you're wondering why I am not in the studio tonight, but I got sent home. Got to stay home for a few days now. Don't worry, guys. I'm not sick like that. Don't have COVID or anything. I do have a test tomorrow, so we'll find out what's going on there. Rob is also at home dealing with the same type of situation, but hopefully everyone is taking care of themselves out there. Quan59, bigs up to you. He's back at the studio doing what he does for us, as he does every single Wednesday night, even when we're in the studio or not. Last week, if you guys checked out the show, I greatly appreciate you. I know it was a last-minute thing. It was only 30 minutes, but we had a fun time. We were out live at Cashman Field to check out the Lights FC. They didn't come through with the W. It wasn't a good night, but overall, it was a fun night. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully, we'll be back in the studio soon again. But till then, the show must go on, and that's why we continue to do what we do here on Gorilla Cross Radio. So once again, if you guys are watching this live on any platform, whatever it is, we are on all major platforms on the Gorilla Cross pages, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and, of course, GorillaCross.com. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and download the Gorilla Cross app right now on all Android or Apple stores. Go ahead and do that. You can check out all the content. Go ahead and they got good stuff. So if you guys want to give us a call as well, down below, 702-608-3259 is the phone number where you can give us a call here on Gorilla Cross Radio tonight. We got a good guest on tap for you all. He is a returning guest. He's got a fight coming up here shortly. But before we do so, let me go ahead and introduce my co-host for the night. He's back after a 1-week hiatus. Rob G, was good, my man? How's your night going so far?
I think it's actually been 2 weeks, right? I think I missed one. I think I missed a couple weeks, no? But I'm good to be back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got
Everyone's good? All right, cool. Yeah, no, it's good to be back. Excited. Talk about some stuff today. You know, obviously sports-related. Maybe some gambling after, you know.
You already know what it is, man. Once again, Jose V, Straight Bet Sports, tuned in live here on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's go ahead and bring in our featured guest of the night. He just finished up his workout. He's still at the gym as we speak. Probably a little sweaty, probably a little tired, but we appreciate him giving us a little bit of his time here tonight. Once again, our return guest, pro boxer Ezequiel La Bruquena Borrero. Welcome to the show, my man. We greatly appreciate you joining us again. How you feeling out there tonight?
You know, man, feel good, man. Feels good. Just tired getting off my gym and my workout, so ready to go home, rest up, and back at it again tomorrow. You already know.
So it's been a long time coming, man. The last time we had you on the show was a few months back. You haven't fought since. How are you feeling right now leading up to this next fight?
Feel good, man. Feel really, really excited. Feel like I'm gonna be ready for this fight 100%. My diet, my workout, my training has been different for this fight. Everything's been different. It's been like I planned, and so far everything's so good. Like can't complain about anything so far.
So obviously the people out there that are watching, your fans and just boxing fans in general, who are you fighting? Give us a little bit more of that information. Obviously, we want to know who is the guy that's going to get the beating from you next week.
He's a Mexican fighter from Mexico. I think his first name is Edwin. I forgot his last name, but it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just ready to go out there, knock him out, and get the job done, and on to the next one. You already know.
So you mentioned to me earlier before the show when we were talking off the air, the fight is next Thursday, July 29th. So it's a weekday fight, not a weekend, not a Saturday. Where is the fight going to be taking place at?
It's going to be at Los Mochis, Silanoa. It's going to be going through live at UFC Fight Pass, and you can also catch it live. I believe my coach might be going live on his Facebook, so you might just want to go over there and give him a follow so you can catch it live. It's under Gil Martinez, or you can go to my page as well. My Facebook is Ezequiel La Bruquena Borrero. Just give me a follow, and we'll go ahead and go live through there as well.
You talk about Coach as well. We love Coach, man. We love Gil. He's a great guy. How has training been so far, and has he changed anything in your training leading up to this fight compared to other fights in the past?
It's been great, man. Training's been great with Coach. Everything's still the same, still trick on technique and just going forward and pushing and conditioning. It's just his training hasn't changed, and it shouldn't change because it worked so far. So why change something that's always been working?
So another thing that I've noticed too is a lot of the fights that are happening right now are coming out of Los Mochis. Is that like a preferred spot, or is that just part of the agreement or the fights that you're currently getting right now? And not only that, are you signed to anyone now? Because I'm not sure that you were signed to anyone last time, correct? You were just going fight by fight?
Yeah, I'm not signed to anybody just yet. Right now we're just taking what we can. So far just a free agent, taking what fights we find and what we can get. Right now the one that's we fought twice at Los Mochis. This is the second time we're gonna fight there. So thank God I could get this fight too, because it's not easy, especially with all this COVID stuff going on. It hasn't been easy getting fights. So I'm just glad that I actually had, I believe, 3 fights fall off before this one because of, situations like this.
Once again, you are tuning in to Straight Bet Sports live here on the Guerrilla Cross Radio Network. I am your host, Jose V. Rob G. We are home right now. We're not in the studio, but we are joined live by Ezequiel La Bruquena Borrero, professional boxer. He is chilling right now at the gym. He just finished up his workout, giving us a few moments of his time. If you guys want to catch his fight, he's fighting next Thursday, July 29th, UFC Fight Pass. You guys can check him out there. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. If you've caught his previous fights, this guy gives you excitement. Not only that, he's half Puerto Rican, half Mexican. Do I have that correct there, right? So yes, you have the two best part of the genes when it comes to boxing.
Yes, sir. Thank you, God, I do.
So another thing as well that I wanted to ask you is, have you studied your opponent? And if so, how much? And what have you seen from his previous fights?
In reality, I haven't studied my opponent. I haven't even looked at videos or nothing like that. Just focus on myself, more worried about my performance than what I should be planning to do with him in the ring. I'm just worried more about my technique, my technical things, and that I don't do certain mistakes. I mean, you can't really train for a certain fighter. It's almost impossible to do that. You just got to go out there and kind of wing it, Sometimes.
So the last time we had you on the show, your record was 4-0 with 2 knockouts. We talked earlier, and you mentioned to me that it's technically now 3 wins with 1 knockout because the Mexican Boxing Commission or whatever it was isn't recognizing one of your wins and your KOs. Can you talk about that a little bit and explain to us what's going on with that situation?
Well, it's just a complicated situation. It's still talking to the promoter that got us the fight over in Mexico, and it's a big argument with them. They can't get it fixed. They're saying that the commission is the one that has to put it up, but they can't put it up due to something that's going on with that card. There's a lot of politics going on over there. I still got to fight for it to get it on my record, but right now technically I'm 3-1 knockout.
How much does that mean to you?
3-0 knockout.
How much does that knockout mean to you being on your record?
It means a lot because it puts me one fight closer to that championship, because they look at your record depending on where you're at in the fights. You got to climb up. So without that fight being up in there, I can't climb up the ranks. So it actually means a lot to not have that fight.
So say this decision doesn't go your way after they decide, if they're still looking at or whatever. Are you going to be looking more for a knockout? Not to say in your next fight, but maybe in your upcoming fights to kind of make up for that one that you're missing out on?
Well, I mean, I'm never looking for a knockout. If it happens, it happens. I never, go with that mentality. I just let the knockout happen. Just because if you go with a mentality you want to knock them out, you might make a mistake that might get you messed up in a certain way, in a bad position.
Very true, very true. So where are you fighting at weight-wise? What weight class is
I'm fighting. This one's going to be at 126, this fight.
So what's your ideal weight? Where do you think you feel more comfortable and you can do more damage?
My comfortable weight would be at the one that I'm fighting at right now, 126. I tried fighting my first fight at 118. I didn't feel as strong. 122 the next two. And same thing, it's just too much of a weight drop for me. But 126, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling like I still got power behind my punches, even though I'm already cutting a little bit,
So I hear the music in the background. It sounds like you guys are having a good time over there in the gym. They got the what is it, Vicente or whoever they got playing right now, which is amazing.
Oh, hey, that's a daily right there.
Talk about the atmosphere in the gym, aside from the training, obviously. I know the training can be gritty. I've been in the gym when Gil's training people, and he's no joke. He goes after you, but he does it because he wants to get the best out of you. Aside from that, though, we just heard the music. What's the overall atmosphere like when you're in that gym?
Well, it's good, man. It makes me feel comfortable just seeing other people working as hard as you do. Not seeing anybody slacking off, and if somebody slacks off and coach catches them, that's it. Everybody starts doing some type of workout as punishment, but it's just comfortable, man. I feel good. I feel like they're pushing me to work harder every single day. So I like the environment here. I love it here.
Once again, you're tuning in to Straight Bet Sports live here on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network. I am your host, Jose V. Rob G. We are home tonight. Quan59 back in the studio doing what he does for us every single Wednesday night. So we greatly appreciate you, Quanzo. As always, we are live with professional boxer, a good friend of the show now, second time back, Ezequiel La Bruquena Borrero. He's fighting this next Thursday, July 29th on UFC Fight Pass. All you fans out there, go ahead and check him out. You will not be disappointed. So talk a little bit more about your personal life with us real quick here before we let you go, man. I mean, how's the family? How's your everyday life been leading up to this fight away from the gym?
Well, everything's been good, man. Just working, coming to the gym, and waking up early in the morning at 5, going for my daily run, getting up, getting breakfast, and, eating right, spending time with my daughter and my wife, and just enjoying time while I got with them, because boxing takes a lot of time away from that. So I got to enjoy the bit that I got with them when I do. Then going to work, getting off work, and coming straight to the gym to get this work in,
So a good friend of the show that we had on the show a few weeks ago, Nick Hamilton, he kind of mentioned what you just said, which is funny. A lot of us have a 9-to-5, but yet we still do this media thing on the side and try to make something of it, right? And build an empire and do something. You have a 9-to-5, but yet you're trying to create something as well in your brand and becoming that next big thing in boxing. Talk about how tough that is, if it is for you. I don't know, maybe it's easy, but has it been tough for you living a normal 9-to-5 life, but yet still trying to be a pro boxer?
It's been tough. it's different. It's not normal, you know. I know a lot of people wouldn't be able to do it. It's getting up, going to work every single day, same schedule. Sometimes working 7 days, you know, a full 7 days a week because you're short staffed, especially with this COVID thing going on. A lot of people don't want to work. So I'm kind of forced to work every 7 days of the week. But it's just knowing that I'm doing that pushes me to be here every day. Sometimes there's days that I'm like, you know what, I don't even want to be at the gym just because I'm tired from work, but something pushes me to be here every day. So I just listen to that little thing in the back of my head that pushes me to be here, and I'm just here.
So, final question for you, my man. Unless you got one for him, Rob, I got one more left. Anything else you want to talk or ask to the young man tonight?
I want to know what the prediction is, right? What's the prediction for the next fight?
You stole my question. What's the prediction, baby? What can the fans expect from you in this fight?
Well, you guys could for sure expect a show, and if I could put him out in the first round, man, it's going. He's going. I'm leaving out on the stretcher.
So you say you got to be smart, but you're hoping to get the knockout is what you're saying.
Yes, sir. That's what we've been training for.
There we go, my man. He is Ezequiel La Bruquena Borrero. Once again, my man, let everybody know where they can find you on all things social media and where they can keep following you. And not only that, go ahead and plug the fight one more time, my man, so everybody can be ready to watch it.
Sounds good, my man. Thank you, guys. And you guys could go and follow me up in Facebook on Ezequiel La Bruquena Borrero. Also go into my Instagram. It's linked right there below my name. It's La_Bruquena Bruquena. And you guys could catch my fight live on the 29th, 7 p.m. at UFC Fight Pass. Live.
There we go. He is, once again, Ezequiel La Bruquena Borrero. We appreciate you coming on the show. Again, my man, best of luck to you. I'll definitely be watching. I know Rob will. I know we all will. Get that knockout, but be smart, my man. Hoping to get the W, and we'll see you on the show next time.
Sounds good, my man. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Take care, my man.
Thanks, Ezequiel.
Good stuff, man. It's cool that he's at the gym, you know what I mean? Fresh. He's hyped up right now. He's probably got all that energy in him. You know, he's just ready to go, man. It's good to see him back on the show, though. Hopefully he gets a W. It's good when we have these young and up-and-coming fighters, right, Rob? Because we want to root for them. We want to see them grow because we're boxing fans. We want to go watch them. We want to enjoy stuff like that. It's cool knowing that we get these type of kids on the show, you know what I mean? So best of luck to him and what he's got going on, and hopefully we're going to hear him get the W, right, my man?
Yeah, you know, it's good to have the youth on and you know, get them some time too, you know, get them some practice, you know, getting interviewed and stuff like that. Kind of gives them a little bit, you know, of a sneak peek of what it could be like, you know, once they kind of get the ball rolling in the ring and get that record built up and hopefully eventually get a title shot.
Once again, you are tuning in Straight Bet Sports live here on the Guerrilla Cross Radio Network. 702-608-3259 is the number if you want to give us a call, chime in on anything that we're going to be talking about for the rest of the show here. We have a couple different topics that we're going to get into, some soccer, some baseball, some local soccer, some MLS stuff. I know that we got some people that are tuned in right now. So with that being said, we're in this basically about almost our second part of the midway through the show here. Quan, if you can go ahead and put up that graphic, man, we're going to go ahead and jump into the barbershop like we do every single night. Jump into the barber's chair with our main man, the one and only Eric Navarro, the one that hooks us up every single week when we need a haircut, when we got to stay fresh, look good, stay clean. And, of course, he sponsors our show, man. So hit him up anytime, Eric Navarro, 702-884-8138. Line him up by Eric on IG as well. Line him up by Eric, LINEEMUPBYERIK. Hit him up, line him up by Eric. He cuts out a 5-star barbershop. Hit him up now, man. He's in California right now. So he's enjoying his Dodgers and things of that nature. So you got to hit him up and set up appointments because he gets booked quick. But with that being said, Rob, we're already on the topic of boxing. So something was announced recently, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. I wanted to get your opinion and see what you think, right? So Oscar De La Hoya is going to be fighting soon. I'm not sure if you heard that or if you saw it or not, but he's going to be fighting Vitor Belfort. Okay, so both of these guys haven't fought in I don't know how long. Oscar De La Hoya is so old. You have people like Dana White making fun of him saying, you know, Coke's not cheap. You know what I mean? Like, He's running out of money. You know what I mean? Like they're saying a bunch of stuff about the guy, right? Like it's funny stuff, but it's true. It's like, I mean, not true that he's doing that. So I'm just saying, like, it seems like a money grab more than anything. Now, this fight went from an exhibition to now being a full-on sanctioned boxing match, a complete full-on sanction. It's a light heavyweight fight, I believe. I want to get your thoughts first before I tell you mine. I mean, what do you honestly think about this? And are you gonna watch it? I'm gonna watch it. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know me, I'll watch it. But are you laughing at this? I mean, do you think it's a joke? I mean, what do you got?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a joke. I'll watch it if it's free, right? If you're gonna pay for it, I'll be there, right? I'll be there for it. But I think was that the signal for another round? Was that?
So wait, before you continue, if you guys already know me, Wednesdays is taco night, right? I always stop by Tacos Mexico before the studio and get some tacos. Since I'm home and I'm not going out, we order it in, so we got some tacos. Food just got here. Wife put them on the table. Anyways, continue, my man. What were you saying?
No, so I mean, this is just becoming more and more common, right? We're seeing these I don't care if it's sanctioned or not. In my eyes, it's still an exhibition match, right? Because what is it going to lead to, right? Is it going to lead to more fights? Is it going to lead to, Oscar jumping back into some type of ranking system or anything like that? No, it's just to make money. And they're seeing, what Tyson and Roy Jones did, and it's not good for sports, to be honest with you. It's something that I don't look forward to. I hope they stop it. I want to see the professionals that are still doing it, that are still trying to move up the rankings or stay on top of the rankings. But I do like that Dana's calling them out, saying cocaine cheap and stuff like that. I love Dana White because there's no censorship when it comes to him. He's just straight up, and it's true though, right? A part of that is true. It sucks, like you said, that we're not saying he's doing that, but what is behind this, right? Does he really need the money, right? Does Oscar De La Hoya need the fame, the time of day from people? We all know who Oscar De La Hoya is. So for him to be doing this is almost, in my eyes, a step back from the way I view him. So, I'll watch it if it's free. If you're having it, definitely invite me over. I'd definitely love to come over and watch it, but I do not look forward to this at all.
So if you've been watching the videos, I mean, he looks good in training. Not gonna lie to you, he looks in good shape. I mean, but how much does he really have? And not only that, how much does his jaw really have? You know what I mean? He's an older fighter, bro. He's not in his 30s. He's almost 50 years old, or he's already probably 50 years old.
Well, Vitor Belfort's a UFC fight. Am I tripping? Vitor Belfort's a UFC guy. So
yes, exactly.
I think this is one of those kind of Mayweather-McGregor type scenarios. Obviously, a little bit in the past, with both of them being the age that they are, but. I think he should win this fight, right? When you're talking about someone coming into your own, stomping grounds, I think that De La Hoya should win this. But yeah, I don't understand how this got sanctioned, right? How this got the backing for to actually be a sanctioned fight versus an exhibition.
So check this out. Neil Atfel from Electric Company, supporter group of the Las Vegas Lights. He just chimed in on Facebook. He goes, "I've seen this movie. It's called Grudge Match, and it's basically Rocky versus LaMotta in a comedy starring Kevin Hart."
It's isn't it De Niro in it? Is it De Niro? Is De Niro in it?
I think so, probably. He plays Jake LaMotta. I don't know, but this is one of those things, honestly, Rob, where I think I'm not going to get into the whole Coke thing, right? Because that's just, it's Dana White being Dana White. But when it comes to this being an actual sanctioned fight, it makes me wonder what these commissions are looking at. Like, are the commissions also, the sanctioning bodies, are the sanctioning bodies also getting bored, or are they thinking we're running out of actual fights or things that can actually bring fans to the sport of boxing, right? Because you're actually going to sanction this to be a full-blown actual boxing match that it's going to go on or against Oscar De La Hoya's record. Remember that. If he wins this fight, since it's technically a sanctioned fight, it's going to add to his win total. Remember that. So his actual boxing win total is going to go up. If he gets knocked out, it's also going to go out as a knockout loss on his record. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to watch. Does he really have it in him? And not only that, leading up to this fight, have you been seeing what he's been saying? He said he wants an exhibition, which now isn't, Triple G, and then he wants Canelo. That makes you wonder if what Dana White is saying is true. You know,
is
this
he on
really
coke?
You're saying things that just they make no sense whatsoever coming out of your mouth. If we're being real, Canelo will annihilate this guy. Canelo would look like Mike Tyson in his younger age when he was knocking people out in the first round. You know what I mean? I think it would be that type of fight. So for him to say that he even wants to fight Triple G, which is still crazy to me, but the fact that you think you can actually go against those two type of fighters is beyond me. Like, I don't know what he's thinking, bro, honestly. It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, when you talk about those sanctioning bodies, I mean, if it's an exhibition, I'm sure they have no skin in the game, right? And if you're going to come to my business and you're going to say, hey, we want you to say yes to this and you're going to get this amount of money, I mean, who's going to say no to that, right? Especially during the times right now, like you said, of is there not enough lined up? Is there not enough cards going on? Is you know, everyone kind of took a hit with COVID. So, you know, for them to just say yes to a sanction and probably, you know, take a little, you know, put some money in the bank, I'd be all for it too if I were them.
No, yeah, man, I definitely get it, but we'll see what happens. I'll be honest with you.
When's the fight?
Here, I had the graphic up. Let me pull it up. Let me see. I know I got it right here. I'll tell you right now in a second. I think it's in August or September. I got to give credit to my boy on Instagram because he's the one that posted it. Gustavo from AB Boxing. Go ahead and check him out on Instagram. I got to give him a shout out because he's always putting good content on there. He interviews a lot of boxers, man, which is awesome. Let me see real quick. I got to get this up here. There we go. AB Boxing Nation. Yeah, he posted it. I can't find it. Let me see. AB Boxing. There we go. Oh, no, that's why I'm missing the extra B. There we go. Gustavo, AB Boxing. So, Oscar De La Hoya, the Golden Boy versus Vitor Belfort, Staples Center, light heavyweight fight. It's going to be
Staples Center.
Yeah, Staples Center. They're calling it the Triller Fight Club of Legends 2. September 11th is when the fight's going to be. Wow, on September 11th to top it off as well at Staples Center. Oh, it says you can actually watch it on Fight and Triller. Fight is FITE, and obviously Triller, if you have the app, it's all the social media stuff that everyone's doing. So since let's go away from this, obviously. We
Please.
Don't talk too much about this, but let's stick to Triller since I just brought that up now. You know Teofimo Lopez, right?
Yes.
Just beat Lomachenko not too long ago. I just saw Lomachenko live. I know Rob doesn't want to hear that because he's upset that I didn't take him to the fight and I took Joel. But that's a whole nother conversation there. But Teofimo Lopez was supposed to fight Cambuso coming up, right? But he tested positive for COVID 4 days before the fight. So we know what happened. Everything was suspended there. Now, Triller outbid everyone, if you guys don't already know this. Back in February, Triller outbid Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn. He bid $3.5 million, right? Bob Arum with Top Rank 2.3. Take a guess what Triller, which is a social media platform app that's trying to build up and start with these fights. How much do you think they bid? And they're actually out on money right now because of this. Take a
$10 million.
A little lower.
7.5.
6.1 million. So think about it. 3.5 was Eddie Hearn, and these guys jump in and go, we'll give you 6.1, right? So now they're already out, reportedly, they're out $5 million because of the postponement of this fight. Not only that, they want this fight to now happen possibly in Cambuso's hometown, which is Australia, in Sydney, Australia, right? But now Lopez is stating that he does not want to fight there. Quote, Lopez is also threatening to vacate his IPF belt in order to bypass the mandatory fight with Cambusos. Lopez has stated that he will not fight in Sydney, believing that if the fight goes the distance to the scorecards, he'll be cheated. I'm sorry. You're the guy that ran his mouth completely, threw it out there with your pops, was talking so much crap to Loma and his family. You put it out in the universe to get that title fight, and then you say you're the man and nobody can beat you and you'll take on anyone, anywhere, anytime. And now you're telling me that you're afraid that it might go to the scorecards. I get it. It sucks having to do that flight, 14-day quarantine. He's got to cut weight and do all that. But if you're the guy in your weight division and you're saying that you're the best pound for pound and you should be on that list, isn't this kind of a bad look for Teofimo? I say yes. What do you think?
You know, it's. I think there's more behind the story than we're actually, you know, what we're talking about right now. It does obviously give him a little bit of a bad look from the people that are, involved. And then, for this company to come out and, drop, or basically throw their own company on the line.
And James Harden's an investor too, by the way.
You've got people, throwing this company on the line specifically for this fight as well, right? I mean, when you come, that's a huge overbid. You got these, obviously, the other companies that bid on it are going to come in and try to lowball it, because of how much they bring to the table. But I think, at the end of the day, he can decide. I mean, if he doesn't want to go and he thinks that he could possibly get robbed, I mean, we almost talk about that with almost every major fight in some situations. I think De La Hoya was one of them, right? When he fights in Vegas, depending on the judge, depending on the ref, it won't go his way sometimes and stuff like that. So I don't blame him for kind of being cautious in moving taking that fight over there. But at the end of the day, he's the champ, right? At the end of the day, he's the champ. He gets to make the decision. Not say make the decision, but he's got a big say in it. So I don't blame him. But like I said to start, there's probably a little bit more behind this than him just saying I don't want to fight there because I don't think I'm gonna get the decision. So there's a little bit more probably information that's going to come out as as we move on, as we keep going into this and stuff like that. But I do want to see his next fight because we've been waiting, right? We've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So
exactly.
That is one that I definitely am looking forward to, and hopefully they'll make it happen sooner rather than later.
So final one when it comes to boxing, since we're on the topic, I got to talk about it. I know you probably didn't see the fight, but I'm pretty sure you caught highlights and you saw what happened overall. This past weekend, Charlo fought Castano, and it was declared a unanimous draw, right? To me, Charlo is very overhyped and overrated, in my opinion, because of the people that he's fought to get to where he's at. Yes, he's beat champions, but champions that just had belt at that time that really weren't champions. You know what I mean? Like your high-caliber opponents overall. Now, he believes that he won this fight. If you look at the show stats, the only thing that he outlanded him on was jabs. Other than that, Castano on power punches, 164, and he threw 400, 41%. Charlo, 98, and he threw 246, 40%. Total of punches thrown, 533, and he landed 151. As were Castano, 173 over 586, higher percentage at 30%. I'm not saying he lost this fight, but I'm okay with the draw. I'm okay with the fact that this was a draw because if you look at it, Charlo thinks he won this convincingly. And now they're saying, they asked him, so are you going to take the rematch immediately? Well, I want the rematch, but it's up to Al Hamon. I got to see what Al wants. At this point, if you're trying to tell people that you're one of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world and you think you won this fight, there is no, it's up to Al Hamon or we're going to talk to Al and see what he has to say, right? At this point, you're like, no, I'm going into Al Hamon's office and I'm demanding this fight. I think he's kind of scared now and kind of weary because he kind of overlooked Castano a little bit. And this guy's also a champ. Remember that. He was trying to become unified champ. That 154, I believe it is. So if you think about it, I think he's scared. He's basically saying, without saying, he's going to take another fight before he takes this rematch. What are your thoughts on the Charlo and Castano decision in the fight overall this past weekend?
You know what? I love, me, I love to judge fights myself. So now that I didn't get a chance to actually see the fight, but now that you told me it was a draw or a unanimous draw, I totally want to rewatch or watch that fight for the first time and see and judge it myself to kind of see what my scorecard shows at the end. But yeah, I think, from what you're telling me, the stats you're throwing at me, I think he's definitely trying to avoid that rematch. I think that he should take that rematch. I think that that's what people want to see, especially after any draw is controversy, right? Very few fights that end in a draw are like, all of us had it a draw, right? Usually somebody, right. It's never the consensus is it's a draw. It's always like, oh, I had, this person by maybe a round or two, or I had the other person by a round or two. But when it's a draw, I think that creates controversy. And, honestly, for him, from a financial standpoint, it'd probably be a good decision for him to take the second fight because of the hype that's going to lead into it, because of exactly money that's involved in it. People are going to want to see it. People probably didn't have it a draw themselves as well. Like I just mentioned, they probably either had the other, Charlo winning or the other fighter. So I think, from a financial standpoint, from a career standpoint, I would take the second fight, especially if he's so confident that he won that fight.
Exactly.
Right? If he's
what are you waiting on?
Right. If you're so confident that you won that fight, I would take the second one. If you thought that you won it, I mean, he may not think that he won it by a lot, but if you definitely think he won it, then I would take it. And then you obviously have, the side story of, was it a draw or was it not a draw? So,
Charlo, you want to give some respect, simple and plain. Take the rematch. Come out and say, I'm taking the rematch no matter what. This is the fight that I want. This is the fight that we're going to make happen. If you want boxing fans to respect you, I don't speak for everyone, obviously. Everyone has their own opinion. But I've never been a Charlo guy. You come out and say, I'm fighting this guy next, you gain my respect 100%. I want to see your fight. And I want to see what you got. Till then, I'm not interested, man. I really am not interested. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully he does, get some cojones and go in there and just take that fight. But it is yet to be seen. Primo Eddie chimes in. You already know what's up. Eddie Martinez, we appreciate him chiming in every single week and watching. He said Charlo lost that fight. Also, he said Oscar must be on some good you-know-what. Big shout-out to Kev Ray chiming in, man. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys out there on social media checking us out. If you're checking us out, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, on all Gorilla Cross platforms and on GorillaCross.com and the Gorilla Cross app. If you want to give us a call, 702-608-3259 is the number to call. You can chime in with us on any of these topics that we're talking. Now, I know we have some of our fans from the electric company, SG, joining and watching here. Now, Rob, I wanted to talk about the article that I sent you about the USL and MLS. Talks came out here. I got to give credit to this article. I'm not going to take credit for it. From the Striker, Texas, by Chris Bills. He reports sources all before MLS affiliate teams leaving USL for new league. Now, it states here that sources tell the Striker, Texas, that all before MLS-affiliated USL teams will leave for the new MLS Development League in 2022. The teams that are staying are LA Galaxy 2, New York Red Bulls 2, Atlanta United 2, and Loudoun United, DC United. As you heard, the Las Vegas Lights are not on that list. They're not a team that is being stated on here that they're going to continue. Now, I know, Rob, you're probably asking, okay, why did Jose send me this? Why are we going to talk about this? And here's why. If you guys saw my video that I posted on our YouTube page, Straight Bet Sports on YouTube, go ahead and check us out. I post stuff on there aside from the show. I post interviews and all that. We went to the media lunch for the Las Vegas Lights a couple months back, actually. Me and Jay Madrazo's went and we checked it out. And I got to ask Brett Lashbrook a question. When he was on our show, he said this was a one-year thing, right? You remember that, Rob? It's a one-year thing. We're signing a one-year thing. It's a one-year thing. It's a one-year thing, right? He kept saying it over and over again. Now, at that media luncheon, I asked him the same thing. You keep talking about, the affiliation with LAFC is great for our future and moving forward, and we're looking forward to the future and this, and you keep seeing future. But on the show, you mentioned that it's only a one-year thing. So what is it, right? So there, if you guys go check out the video, I don't have the exact words. He stated, well, no, this is a one-year contract for now with the possibility of being more moving forward. That's what we hope to keep is what we're going to have with the LAFC. Fast forward to today with this article with these possible sources here out of the Texas Striker. Hey, what's up? Are we going to be part of that development league or not? What is really going on? Now, Neil chimed in on the Facebook page because they're the ones that posted it. And actually, Jack said, now, he says, it's been the investments of the owners holding it back. There's no money, and it's being relegated. He hopes that new ownership comes in because he says 5 completely new teams in 5 seasons. I hope Lashbrook is in advanced planning for next season or selling to a local ownership group. Do you think that Brett Lashbrook is going to sell this team, Rob? I mean, everything he's told us since he's been on the show, no, me and my family intend to keep the team here, this, and that. Now, even if he does sell the team, that doesn't mean they're not going to, that they're leaving. They could still stay here in Las Vegas. Do you think that this is a good look or a bad look for Vegas, man, with this report coming out?
I mean, I think it's a good look. I mean, with them linking up with LAFC, right? I mean, that's a huge kind of, they're a huge team. They've got a huge market in LA, and then they've obviously got a huge following, right? I know, they kind of share it with the Galaxy, but when Brett says that they're going to take it kind of year by year, and it's a 1-year contract, I mean, that to me, I mean, I don't know how you can't commit to LAFC, right? Unless LAFC is the one that's not kind of committing to you, versus the other being on the other foot of, yeah, I'm the one that kind of the lights are the ones that kind of go to them and say yes or no on the following season, right? So from everything that's come out, I mean, I think that this is a big move for the MLS, right? For them to kind of come out and develop their own developmental league and stuff like that, to hopefully better, because the ultimate goal is to obviously better the product on the field, right? The MLS is a great, I'm watching it right now. Actually, I'm watching Portland LAFC. I just happened to put it on before you brought up the topic, but it's the fan base is there, but we read all the time about MLS teams that lose money every year, right? They're still in existence, but yet the books finish in the negative every year. So
every single year.
Yeah, every single year. So for them to come out and, commit to a developmental league to help a better product, to hopefully bring more eyes to the TV, I think it's the right move. I think that, at the end of the day, whatever, for the lights, I think it's whatever LAFC wants to do. If they want to join this, if they want to jump into this, I think the lights should jump into it. I think the one thing that we shouldn't fear being in Las Vegas is I don't think that we're going to move. I think that team is still going to be here. I think that we're still going to, we have enough support, I think, to as an economy to support this team. And I think that, the future is bright for this team. It's only up. We're only trending upwards. So, wherever we end up, it doesn't really matter to me. Honestly, it doesn't. I wholeheartedly think that, we're going to have a team. Maybe the name will change, right? We talked about that with Brett too. Is the name going to change? Maybe the name will change, but I still think that we're going to have a team that we can fully support here in Las Vegas in the future.
If you saw the supporters, man, when we were at the game, this was it past Wednesday.
It exists. They exist. Right? They exist.
And even for a Wednesday night, you saw how many people were still in that stadium. It was,
and as hot as it was too. As hot as it was too.
Super hot. Yeah.
It was one of the busiest games. I mean, I've gone to probably about 9 or 10 games now, and I think that for a Wednesday night in the heat, right? It was the support was there, right? And there was people in the stands, so it was good to see. Everyone kind of coming out and supporting the team, and that's what I don't have any fear that we're gonna not have a team or possibility to lose our team. Because I think this market is prime, not only for just, what the lights have to give, but also I think we're going to end up with an MLS team, in the near future.
So Neil chimes in again on Facebook. He says that USL also said today that this break with MLS will also usher in a new pro real in the USL system, basically a new professional relationship, probably with some type of other league or who knows, whatever it may be. So
correct, because who are those teams going to play with, right? Who are those 4 teams that are staying or not joining as of yet, right? Things can change. But what are they going to do, right? Especially Galaxy. That's a huge name. That's a huge brand. I honestly think that they're in those 4. First of all, the 4 teams that are not joining are big names, right? You talk about Atlanta. About the Red.
Those are the 4 teams that are the only ones that got chosen by USL.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on the reverse side of that.
That's kept from the USL. That's what I'm saying. The Lights aren't on that list. Obviously.
I apologize.
But only 4 out of all the 31 USL teams, I believe, in the league, only 4 are going to be part of that new developmental league. So.
Okay. Well, it's just gonna open new doors, right? It's just gonna open new doors at the end of the day. So I'm not worried about a team. I still think we're, like I said over and over, we're gonna have one, and we're gonna support it, and we're gonna talk about it, right? So
this is my final thought on that, Rob. If you think about this, okay, what if we lose that affiliation with an MLS team, right? But what if we end up turning into one of the MLS developmental league teams? You see what I'm saying? They still got to create all those teams because they're creating the league. That's what I'm saying. So maybe we jump out of the USL and become part of the developmental league. We don't know. It's yet to be seen. So, it's interesting to see what's going to happen. Jason Evers, somebody just messaged me. With this news, LAFC is going to make their own LAFC 2 team. What benefit is there for them to stay with the lights? Great question. I mean, that's awesome. Appreciate you chiming in. You want to answer that, Rob? I mean, what do you think? He said, what benefit is there to them to stay with the lights if they're going to create their own LAFC 2? And that's true. It's kind of what we already talked about. I mean, if you think about it, there probably is no benefit if they're going to create their new. So
I think everyone wants an affiliation with Vegas, right? I think that just the name Vegas kind of goes a long way in a lot of people's minds, and as we continue to.
Oh no, Rob's $2 Wi-Fi went out, guys.
You can't hear me? I'm out. I'm back.
Your $2 Wi-Fi started tripping again.
Can you hear me? Are we back?
Yeah, we got you. Go for it.
Okay. No. Yeah. So as we continue, as Vegas continues to grow, I mean, I think it. Well, first of all, it's a good question, but I think that we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right, and I think that we'll be there, no matter what, and even if it's with the lights or with a different name. So.
Well, no, yeah, and Jason brings up a good point. He just messaged me again through Messenger here on Facebook. I appreciate you chiming in, my man. That's awesome that you're watching. You're chiming in.
Absolutely.
Anybody that wants to do that, if you're on Facebook, man, go on the Messenger and message me directly. I can see that, and I will chime in like we're doing right now with Jason. He said that the team's already in LA and they train out of LA. Yes, of course. We know that. So, of course, with that being said, it kind of also brings more light to his point that they could just stay and become an LAFC too. So, who knows, man? It's yet to be seen. Gonna be interesting moving forward for the remainder of this season and the off season moving forward, Rob, coming up. But we saved the best for last. Once again, you are tuned in to Straight Bet Sports here on the Guerrilla Cross Radio Network. Jose V, Rob G, chilling at home tonight. We're not at the studio, but Quan59 is back at the studio doing what he does for us every single night. NBA Finals, Rob, they're done. Yeah, I know last week I said, Suns in 6, maybe Suns in 5. That was bad. You know what I mean? That was bad. But you know what? Before we get into the whole topic, we're going to get into some juicy stuff because you and I were messaging back and forth, last night about our conspiracy theories. If you know myself and you know Rob, obviously Rob's the biggest conspiracy theories, but we like to talk about that. What did the NBA want? What did the NBA need? Right? So before we start, let me first start off by saying congrats to Giannis, one of the most amazing, youngest, brightest stars in the NBA right now. Amazing for him to finally get that title. If you remember what Kobe challenged him to, MVP, he got it. He tweeted out, next challenge, NBA championship. And what did he say last night? If you saw Paul Gasol's Twitter, man, that made me cry, almost made me shed a tear. He said he got it, brother. I think that's what he said. And he posted it with Giannis, and he retweeted, Kobe's old tweet. So congrats to the Milwaukee Bucks, man. 1971, last time they won. It's been 50 years. It's awesome when you see that type of story. Obviously, not seeing the same team win it, year in and year out, or the same team in the NBA Finals as we saw for so many years with the Cleveland Cavaliers and then the Miami Heat and then Golden State Warriors back and forth. It's good to see different stuff in the NBA Finals. But with that being said, let me go off on my little rant because I have a lot to say. I know I'm going to make a lot of people upset, and a lot of people are going to say that I'm stupid and I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm talking about. But before anything, people are like, well, you can't talk about the what ifs or what could have happened or this and that. Oh, yes, the hell you can, and we're going to do it right now here on Straight Bet Sports. And the way it goes is there's a lot that came behind this. If we're being real, everybody's like, oh, well, he beat the Nets, the best team. Correct. They went 7, and the Nets weren't healthy. Remember that. And not only that, we were how much of a centimeter of an inch from Kevin Durant's foot being off that three-point line to having a different possibly ending in that Game 7, correct? Remember that. That's one. Well, then, not only that, everyone is just jumping on Giannis's bandwagon like he made this happen. Let's also remember, guys, he went down in the series against Atlanta. And whether you like it or not, or you want to give credit or not, if it's not for Chris Middleton, they're probably not even in the NBA Finals. Now, I'm not going to take away anything from what he did do. His stat sheet was amazing. He did something that I believe hasn't been seen since Shaq or Kareem or whoever they said. So he balled out in his NBA Finals. I'm not going to take that away from him at all whatsoever, right? You can't. You can never take that away from Giannis. But we got to look at everything around this. We have to look at the what ifs, right, Rob? We have to look at the possible scenarios of what could have been the differences. Now, the next what if that I need to get into, and this is where I know you're going to jump in as well. If you guys know Scott Foster, when it comes to betting, Rob likes to look at refs. He likes to see who's on that side of the court or who's behind the plate that night if it's a baseball game, or who's the head referee, right, when it comes to a football game. That's what Rob's looking at. I know how Rob is when he comes to his betting. He likes to look at the refs because the refs mean a lot when it comes to stuff like that. So here comes the conspiracy theory, right? If Scott Foster, I believe, did not ref one game in this NBA Finals, right, Rob, correct?
I believe so. That's what I was reading, yeah.
So you decide to put a guy that has a history with Chris Paul that is not a good one in the playoffs, right? You have a team in Milwaukee that hasn't won in 50 years. You have NBA greats in attendance that were the last ones to win it, Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's in Milwaukee, right? And Scott Foster has not officiated a game in this finals. And Chris Paul is 0-12 in games, now 0-13 in games officiated by Scott Foster, where he's the main guy. Now, if you want to say conspiracy theory, I call conspiracy theory all the way. Total setup by the NBA to have this guy be the ref on a possible closeout game in Milwaukee. If you say this isn't a conspiracy, okay, why not have him start Game 5 and ref Game 5 in Phoenix? You know what I mean? Why not have him be that ref? Why bring him in now, knowing the history that he has with Chris Paul? Now, if you saw the game, it was pretty balanced both ways, but there was also towards the end a lot of calls that should have gone the Suns' way. Now, I'm not a Suns fan, so I really don't care who won. I'm happy either way. Yes, did I say I thought the Suns were going to win, and that's what I was rooting for? Of course. But, Rob, tell me this doesn't look like a complete setup, bro. And then he's got almost half the points with 4 minutes left in the game, and the Suns are playing a total team game. I mean, come on. Right?
It's a tough.
Fishy just a bit.
Well, anything involved with Scott Foster is fishy, right? I mean, with the amount of how much he was involved when Donaghy, kind of went down, and when all that stuff went down, and how much Donaghy pretty much texted him after every single game that he admitted to influencing, right? Scott Foster's name kept coming up, right? And so, I was my theory on Scott Foster was that, the NBA let him slide and let him keep his job, but they were like, okay, in return, we're going to insert you when we need something to happen, right? Because I don't think Donaghy's talking out of his ass saying that, because some people don't believe it, right? Some people don't believe that there was, corruption and within reffing and the refs influencing a game. And you can say that for any sport, but specifically with NBA because of that scandal that came out. So anytime Scott Foster's involved, my antennas kind of go up and I start kind of thinking, how is the NBA, how is the NBA looking to have this play out, right? Sorry, Quan's yelling at me. Quan's yelling at me on Facebook saying I can't talk like that. So apologize, Quan. But it is. I think make it reverse. Say Suns are at home. I understand that they've never won a finals. But they're going to have, legendary people and, if it's anyone, right, they're going to have, players that, any team, they're going to have players that have won that are still alive in the building. Right. So I don't look at it like that was part of the setup. But, knowing how it's set up and knowing when to kind of insert him and stuff like that. I know like Juan is saying that the referees are already set up prior to going.
And I got something to say about that right now.
That they're already set up going into it. But the games aren't decided yet, right? Like who's going to ref who? Yeah, the crew is decided, but who's going to ref what in what game? So that kind of plays into your theory of why didn't they put him in game 5 or whatever like that, right? But I'm, to go away from that a little bit, if I talked about earlier about betting, man, if I was I just think about it, right? It's been 50 years and then Giannis goes out and scores 50 points. If you could have bet that he was going to score 50 points, man, I wonder what the odds would have been on him to score exactly 50 points on something like that. But he deserves it, right? He's the right, he did it all this season. He's the MVP of the league. He wins the finals. He's the finals MVP.
He didn't win the MVP this year.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. He's got an MVP. I apologize.
Still, 2 MVPs, defensive player of the year. I mean,
and
all NBA, all star. I mean, the guy, yeah, he's amazing.
Only 2 people have done that. Obviously, Jordan being the other. And
he's only 26.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I think that it was overdue for them. They've been a really good team for a long time now. But to also go back to what you're saying of Middleton and all that stuff, I think you could say that almost about every finals, right? Every superstar has got their Robin. Every Batman, every superstar has got their Robin. So, where would LeBron be without Ray Allen, in this certain situation when he was in Miami? So I think you can say that about almost every single finals. I can't remember the last finals where you're just, Kobe was there for Shaq, Shaq was there for Kobe, vice versa. So, I don't really look at that. Like, I think that, Chris Middleton's a great player, right? Led that team when he needed to lead that team and took over when he needed to take over, especially when Giannis went down with injuries and stuff against Atlanta. So I'm happy for Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee was going to win anyways. I think a little bit. I know as the series progressed, but Phoenix had them, right? They were up 2-0. So I mean, to have a 2-0 lead in the finals is a big deal. It's bigger than I think having a 2-0 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals or in the Western Conference Finals. So they just couldn't get the job done. My heart goes out to Chris Paul, who is probably the most deserving player in the NBA right now of a championship. But I don't think his career's done. He's still got some time, but it's going to take one hell of an effort for them to come back and kind of get back in that get put back in that winning position. With the Lakers still an all-time powerhouse. So.
Once again, you're tuning to Straight Bet Sports here, live on the Guerrilla Cross Radio Network. Jose V, Rob G, chilling at home tonight. Quan 5-9 back in the studio, doing what he does for us every single night. So I'm going to finish the topic with this, basically just going off of what Quan said. He said officials are already set before the finals or even start. So if that's the case, and they are set, let's say, for games already, right? Think about this. If the NBA wanted this to go 7 or thought it might go 7, putting Scott Foster in Game 6 is the perfect situation because you have closeout, right, for the Bucks at home. Or if it doesn't happen, so well. They still get their Game 7. Think about it. It was set up, in my opinion, but hey.
If anything, for me, I mean, when you have two I don't want to say big market team, non-big market teams, I guess, because Phoenix is, I don't want to consider. No one considers Milwaukee or the Phoenix Suns big market teams. But if anything, when you don't have a big market, at least one big market team in there, you would want to maybe go 7, right, to get as much games as possible. So that way, the commercials are rolling in and the sponsorships and all that stuff like that. So if anything, I thought it was going to go 7. But Bucks closed it out at home, and Giannis got what he deserved.
Once again, congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks getting their first title, second overall in their franchise history, first since 1971. It was a fun finals to watch, man. Obviously, Devin Booker grew up a lot this season. We saw a lot more from him. So the Suns have a bright future, but it's yet to be seen if that future still has a little bit of Chris Paul left in it. You guys know he's got a $44 million player option. I don't see that happening. I just don't see them paying him that. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. We got a few more minutes here before we finish up. Now, Rob, anything else you want to throw at us before we go, man? We're pretty much at the end of the show.
No, I just think that, you brought it up, that Chris Paul situation is going to be interesting. Like, that's definitely a story I'm going to be following because, the amount, I know Magic Johnson kind of made a little tweet, towards him, like a little recruiting tweet saying, maybe possibly come to the Lakers, but how much are we going to have to pay him, right, to get him to go to the Lakers, and how much, I really feel like he's going to get the short end of the stick here, because I don't think any team is going to be willing to match anything or give him what he's going to be asking for. So yeah, because he's so late in his career, right?
Yeah.
So it is going to be interesting. That it's going to be a little soap opera, and ultimately, I think he's going to end up in Phoenix. I think he was welcome in Phoenix. I think the crowd, the fans love him there. I think he makes them a contender. And I think that this team needs to come back and run it back, and they need to run it back. And now that, they have some playoff or some finals experience, right? Because the finals experience can go a long way. And, they're a young team, and for them to, be where they're at, no one really expected the Suns to be in the finals. I feel like Game 6 they kind of crumbled. I mean, they kept it close for a little bit, but there were some areas where they kind of showed that they were, they were new to being in this situation. So
here's the thing. Me as a fan, because we're coming to the end of the show here, we've hit our time limit. I'm just going to finish up with this. Me as a fan, I would love to see him with the Lakers. I think if the Lakers sign him and the Lakers get him, the Lakers are guaranteed a championship, because I think it alleviates so much more pressure from LeBron James. And now you finally have that point guard. And at the same time, Chris Paul doesn't have to do as much, because he's going to have LeBron and AD. Now, with that
for the right
said,
price.
Correct. Now, with that being said, though, I don't think it happens, because I don't think Chris Paul wants to come and have to learn a new system or start over again with a team because of what he just did with Phoenix. I think his best spot and his best position is finding a way to restructure that, not take so much money away from Phoenix so they can possibly bring in a couple more pieces if need be. But I think his best chance to possibly feel more comfortable and work probably would be in Phoenix. But I hope he comes to the Lakers as a fan, like I said. But once again, we are at the end of our time here. Thank you, each and every person that chimed in on Facebook, social media, and everything else. We greatly appreciate you guys. To our guest, Ezequiel La Bruquena Borrero, best of luck to you next week. Check him out on UFC Fight Pass this Thursday, July 29th. He will be fighting live in Los Mochis, Mexico, Sinaloa. Should be a good fight, man. Check him out. We appreciate him coming on the show. Best of luck to him and his trainer, Gil Martinez. So we're at the end here, Rob. Obviously, your favorite part of the show. You're not in the studio, so you can't give Quan the signal.
Give him the signal.
Give him the signal.
There it is. Oh, he's got it on cue. He's got it on cue already.
Yeah, man. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. Joshua LaFon with Simply Vegas Real Estate. We greatly appreciate you. And Eric Navarro from Line 'em Up by Eric. Go ahead and hit him up today. So final thought of the night, man. The struggle you're in today is going to develop you. Is going to develop the strength that you need for tomorrow. So trust me, don't give up no matter what you're going through, because tomorrow's another day. Till then, for Jose B, Rob G, Paul 59 back in the studio, you have been tuned in to Straight Bet Sports here on the Gorilla Cross Radio Network. Till next Wednesday night, we are out. Peace.
See ya.